Welcome back to Game Devs Play Games, where you can watch games or practice game design. And we're back with Pyre.
The others
Pyre.
are still picking themselves up as you awaken.
That's true. Well, that was something. That was our way out. So now we just follow the stars, or what?
Supposedly. Reader, come, let us regard the night.
She is so terrifying.
I love her. I love her so
like
much.
sunken dark eyes, but like her irises are bright blue, pale. They're pale something. It's just like it's so piercing.
Jaderia leads you outside where a clear night sky awaits. Now, show us, before the howlers catch our scent, where shall the rites commence? I really wish that howlers was highlighted.
Yeah, right?
Where shall the rites commence? An ancient ritual competition from which the worthiest exiles regain their freedom.
Which is pretty much what we just learned how to do.
Yeah. You gaze at the stars. Seek out your destination. This reminds me so much of, do you remember,
Nope.
what was the game that we played that, like, me, Nick, and Rachel were obsessed with for a while?
Darkest Dungeon?
No. Wait, I mean, that too, but,
Moon Hunters?
Moon Hunters.
Oh, yeah.
This part reminds me a lot of Moon Hunters.
We played Moon Hunters on the show.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said the one that we played.
Oh, I missed that part.
And then when you're like, I don't know, we played a lot of stuff, I specified. Yeah, but Moon Hunters. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I can see that, actually.
Picking the constellations. So this is Goal, the South Star. The South Star burns bright over a massive ridge of stone, much further than the naked eye can see. But these are also stars like that will come into play later.
So are we selecting the star?
We can only select the one that's highlighted. I'm imagining that eventually we'll be able to take branching paths. But for now, it's like, this is the tutorial being like, look how much this choosing the night sky and star you go to is also the map for the world that you move on. I choose to go here, and this star represents like a location that we're going to physically go to in their world.
That's kind of cool.
Right? 200 leagues due east to Ridge of Goal. According to this, just says that's the next place we're to go to. It'll go into more detail later.
Great. And we're supposed to be there when exactly?
Very soon, according to the stars. You shall be able to arrive in time if you make haste.
Then we had best get started. Well, this ought to be good for a few laughs at least. What do you say, Jody?
Yeah, shortens her name to Jody. She's the most imposing of the three masked wonders. Well, that's not a lie.
She has the face of like, I hate it when you call me that.
Yeah. Jodariel turns to you, studying you. Reader, do not deceive us. Pray we make good use of our remaining time. That's not a threat.
What she means is, glad to have you aboard, chum. We're counting on you, my friend. See you inside.
You know what?
What a soft smile and a soft gaze.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to, like, stroke his cheek. Be like, you're my only true friend here.
Yeah, baby. Freedom. The rights of the key. It is a lot to take in. Join them. So, yeah, what's his name? Ruki reminds me of the Badger from Firefly. The guy with the bowler hat. The very beginning where like he wouldn't take the payment, and he was just like, and he's like, when Malcolm Reynolds looks at him, is like, I may not be as sophisticated with you and your fancy hat. That's like the mustache. That's what he reminds me of. He's a what do they call it? The carpetbaggers. He's a traveling salesman.
Absolutely. It's kind of why he reads as a Do you remember Battle Block Theater, right?
Oh yeah.
And you remember Stamper, like the dude's main voice.
Yes,
he's the kind of voice I imagine for.
Absolutely. You arrive in Downside Prairie, where the road ahead is forked. There's a lack of consensus about which way you should proceed.
One of the downsides: only verdant regions. Cool. I'm telling you, we ought to take to the Northern Pass. Got an associate holed up in Hollowroot. Got to pay a visit too. Besides. Yes.
The northern route of the Ridge of Goal goes through a small exile encampment. Fie on your associate. Best we head to Blooming Pool and avoid attention. The southern route of the Goal goes through a humid area pocketed with hot springs.
And get stuck in a bog while we're at it.
The dispute continues as Headwind listens for a while.
What if the readers settled this? They mark the way, we get us there. If these rites are meant to test our faith, then we best learn to trust the reader's instincts on our path. No second guessing them along the way. Can we all live with that for now? Yeah, sure.
If necessary. Look at those eyes. Look at the eyes.
Don't hurt me. Then it is settled. Just point the way, my friend. The stars guide us through you.
All right. Cool. Here we go. And then we get many choices within the areas. We could either go to Hollowroot, which is that little small exile encampment, or we can go to the Blooming Pool. Now, I've seen the Hollowroot, and
Blooming Pool definitely looks more intimidating.
Yeah. Here. This is important, too. So it gives you a description of it, and then it says, it explains why that's a choice. Rookie knows someone here who owes him.
So there's some kind of benefit in each place.
Jodariel thinks she can find a rare flora here.
And at this point in the game, it's like, we see that and we're like, well, those both sort of mean nothing to us. But it kind of hints at what what you might encounter. So it's like, it really comes down to personal preference, which I think is kind of cool. And maybe like once we see what the benefit is, it'll like sort of manipulate our choices later on.
Yeah, it's very possible. This is very almost Banner Saga-esque.
Yeah, it's story-driven, not like optimal path kind of choices.
Exactly. That being said, I've already seen Hollowroots. If you don't mind, we're going to choose Blooming Pool, and I will tell you the difference between the two.
Yeah, sure. I'm way into Blooming Pool anyway. I don't really trust our dog friend's associate.
Oh, yeah, it's because we can't trust our dog friend, much less.
He's a sketchy fellow. People that owe him are also going to be sketchy people.
Sketchier, probably. Jodariel offers to show you around Blooming Pool after she notices you staring at the bogs and vegetation near the wagon. Soon, something catches her eye. Observe. This shall pay for half our trip.
Yeah.
Found a black bloom. It's quite valuable. Great item. This can be sold at a slug market.
For 30 coin. Which I have no sense of if that's a lot or not.
So if we go to the other one, to the Hollow Point or whatever it was called, it just like, he just comes back and he's like, I met my associate and we have this parchment we can sell. And it also sells for 30. So there's not a huge difference there. It was a very short amount of text as well. So
okay.
I think that one's a small difference. It's just a way of saying, here, pick something.
I think it's sort of there for a sort of tutorial kind of introduction to that mechanic.
Yeah.
And I think after this point,
it'll probably mean a lot more.
Yeah, like there will be consequences for certain routes.
Yes. The Black Wagon grinds to a stop at the base of the Ridge of Gold. The others ask you to assist with making preparations for nightfall and the commencement of the rite.
Oh, dang.
Boom. All right. Page revealed. First exile. Let's go into our Black Wagon, huh?
I mean, that's the only thing we can do.
Unless we can click on... Nope. Okay. Black Wagon. Boom. God, she's terrifying.
Stop staring at me. Oh, she seems to have something on her mind.
Yes. It's just like every time she looks at him, I'm just like, here, take my baby. Like, it...
Will you stop looking at me now?
Reader, Greentail here was complaining how you opted to not take us to Hollowroot.
What? And violate our anti-second guessing pact? Nah, I was only just saying how our chum's gonna have to keep making the tough calls. I like that he's wearing a dog bone necklace, by the way. Or at least some kind of clasp, that's one. Besides, just making sure we've got something to pawn off at our next slug market we find.
And we have. Now let us focus on the task at hand. We have reached our destination, have much left to prepare before nightfall. The two of them soon go about rummaging through the raiments and the books strewn about the wagon, leaving you to your own devices. Cool.
Good talk.
Book of Rites. Wow.
Let's go put out a pyre.
Alright, so this is the previous page we're at.
Oh.
Here's the next one.
Oh, okay,
First exile. You know perhaps the thrice cursed name of Solium Mur, the Emperor of Sar. Maybe. Sar. We'll go with Sar. The first exile, and my liege. This chapter concerns him and those who found him in the downside. Each of us went to take his life, with such hatred for him in and around his country. Yet we found in Solium Mur a man transformed in body, mind, and spirit. A man deserving of much more than mercy. In time he named us all scribes, and he became the eighth. it is my greatest honor now to share with you his deeds. To know his history is to know the rites.
Ooh.
So I guess like 7 people went to murder this guy, and instead he converted them and also became one of them.
It's pretty legit,
right?
So I think 10 tabs on there. So we have 10 pages to find in total.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8.
Oh, so there are 9. I think there's one on the bottom.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean there are 8 scribes. So.
Oh, well then that would make sense. So then there's the intro tab and then the 8 scribes.
Let's see, does he have a symbol around here? I'm trying to find out if there's a correlation between him and the star we're looking at.
Oh.
See, like some circles. Here's his type of helmet.
I mean, if anything, it'd be that star on his helm in the main picture. Maybe.
With the little red dot. Okay, so I guess this kind of looks like his, with all the circles and stuff.
Kind of.
Yeah, I see. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he's yellow. Maybe it's the yellow one. It could be. There's like 4 different possibilities. So, yeah. Boom. All right.
Sweet.
Cool.
Can we do something with those dishes?
Sorry. Dishes. No, but we can look at them. Wood passes for cooking supplies on the downside. Headwind does most of the cooking.
Nice.
Ready? See this guy?
Whoa, that's a guy. What?
Lone
What?
minstrel. You observe the man slumped in a corner of the wagon, bearing some sort of stringed instrument. You sense he lives, but nothing more. It seems inappropriate to ask him about now. Just, yeah, he's just like, you're like, what? What?
How long have you been here?
Cool. Let's go to the common room.
Oh, wow, there's a lot.
In the common rooms, you may review various notes and observations about your fellow exiles and their respective paths toward enlightenment in the rites. Boom.
Oh.
Character screen. All right, so this is where the mechanics of the game start to open up to us, and we can tell more about our friends.
Is this where we would, like, rank up guys, or does it just auto happen?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
So, the free spirit, he wanders the downside in search of a way to regain his freedom or return to his home. The rest of his aura in a straight line is his cast ability, his jump ability. He high jumps to evade adversaries' auras, and then sprint runs much faster for a short amount of time.
So he's basically your
all
good,
around.
Yeah.
His race is a nomad. Men and women cast from the Commonwealth and stripped of name, home, and title. His past is an outrider. Ensured the highwaymen never flew far from their mountain nest. And then we don't know what his astral sign is. We don't know what his crime is.
Ooh.
We don't know what his motive is or his years of exile currently.
That's cool.
Gives a little, description of them, which we already know about.
Weirdly, it gives you more reason to get buddy with some of them over some of the other characters.
Because you want to learn more about them.
Yeah.
She's a grim, long-time resident of the downside, grown accustomed to surviving here. Cast. She throws her aura in a slow, thick line. Jump. Leaps and slams down, forcing back those in a vicinity, and then lunges forward in one swish motion, which is surprisingly useful when somebody that big all of a sudden comes running at you. Her race is a demon.
Ooh, I mean, she certainly sounds like one from the little bit of like...
She's a former men and women who survived the exile long enough to be transformed by it.
I was wondering about that.
She's been in exile long enough to have turned into this.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Crazy.
She seems at least remotely human, and so it's like, I wonder if the exile, like...
changed her.
Yeah, and then that clarified that, which is super cool. You get a lot of lore from just that little bit, too. Like, it kind of sets a tone of what the downside in exile means to people through that.
Yes.
Like, further justifies them wanting to escape.
And it's a good example of narrative versus actual just dialogue. Like, we're getting a lot... Like, all we did was see the word race, or like race. We looked up demon, and it was like, you've survived the exile long enough to be this. And you're like, oh my god. That explains so much about... Like, it leaves you with so many questions. His race is a cur. They're swift dog-like creatures, known for loyalty, optimism, and appreciation for simple things. His past says he was a trafficker. Makes sense. His aura goes longer. His jump is that you hop up quickly, avoid the auras, and then you accelerate high top speed. And that's basically the reason you play him, because he's the aggressor. Okay, so the last thing I want to point out is stats. We have stats.
Glory, presence. So glory is your damage.
Yep, specifically to the Pyre.
Oh, that makes sense. Quickness is just movement speed. Oh, I like that they convert it to something understandable. 3.7 meters per second. It's like...
So if you want to get all crunchy about it, which actually makes a lot of sense when people are going to start playing competitively.
Ooh, yeah,
people are going to care about that.
Presence, 4 meter diameter, so that's how far your aura reaches.
So your equivalent of like your damage, or it's finally hope. The attribute affects duration of banishment. The higher your hope, the less time it takes you to come back after being killed.
Interesting.
So he finds himself well-rounded. Quickness and presence are a little lacking. She's all about glory and presence and nothing else.
Makes sense.
And then he has a little bit of glory, but the quickness and hope.
Yeah,
he's just faster.
I kind of figured his hope would be the highest because he's most likely to die.
Yeah. And in that regard, they're well designed. Supergiant games may not be known for competitive games, but they clearly have a understanding and an idea of what that means.
I mean, they also, I think, just have a good sense of game balance, and that translates pretty naturally to competitive spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just obviously took it a step further to make sure that it worked in competitive spaces.
Yes. And I'm interested to see once we get through the game, how important the multiplayer is going to be. Because we've talked about if it's a single player game, one of the downsides was people would always try to tack on a multiplayer, but they clearly intended it from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's such a natural framework for competitive space that if anything, it would almost feel like the story in the single player campaign was the one that was tacked on. But
they used it to supplement the it's entirely possible.
But I think in what we've seen, it feels very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't feel tacked on. So yeah, I agree. It makes me wonder if it'll be one of those cases where people acknowledge that there is a competitive multiplayer space and just don't engage, or they engage a lot at the very beginning of this game's lifespan and it kind of just fades quick.
I don't know. I think it ultimately depends on what most multiplayer things do, and that's how respondent they are to the community and to the game, or to the multiplayer. Do the developers continue to work on the multiplayer and try to make it a thing, or is it just a one-off thing that they're going to forget about?
Right.
Running tournaments and stuff like that is important. How much time do we have left?
We have 2 minutes.
Okay. We can probably maybe get through a match.
Let's do it.
Do it.
I mean, it's all right if we go a couple minutes over.
As darkness falls, your fellow exiles stand together, clad in the raiments of the rites. The preparations are set, however, everything is still in calm. Soon they grow restless.
Keep telling you there's nothing here! What a bunch of idiots we are!
Oh, if we traveled all this way for nothing.
I don't think we did. Look up.
The wise as always, Edwin. Wow! How do we not see that?
Oh god!
Bong.
And transported. The goal of each rite is to extinguish the adversary's pyre using the celestial orb that falls from the sky.
The stars align at last.
Dun dun dun.
You reach the ridge of goal at the appointed time, and your triumvirate is ready.
What if 3 teams show up?
In the rites this eve shall be
It's very fate-heavy game.
whosever pyre yet burns.
Be kind of funny if a third one did show up.
Ooh, this is awkward.
Well, also
The rites.
same question as always. What happens if there's an odd number of teams when the tournament begins?
Right? Although they said that your opponents are the accusers.
Yes, that's their name.
Oh, I see.
The stars are aligned and your pyre burns bright. Across from your companions appear several others also clad in raiments, your adversaries in the rites.
Everyone ready? Let's hope so.
Be still, we have a visitor. The one whom she refers prefers 2 steps forward. At last, the Nightwings grace us with their presence. So the Nightwings, the name of the triumvirate in blue, it seems your fellow exiles have assumed their identity. So I'm wondering, it's like, did the other team die off or ascend and now we picked up their garb? Or did we steal this from somebody? Or, like, how do they get this?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I kind of dig that.
It's an even more important question because of this. So, I see that the reports of your demise have all been exaggerated after all. Even I was beginning to think you were gone for good.
Oh.
So, clearly something happened.
Yeah.
Nobody moves, save for the man robed in gold who unfastens his mask. Surprised to see old Lendl again? I trust you remember my face, though you must have assumed never to see it again after the last time. It's apparent leader of the Triumvirate in control of the Ridgego. Yeah. Never had I come so close to freedom, only for you to dash my hopes. Now, I and the accuser shall repay that affront. He shoves his mask back on, takes position from his comrades. Barr. It is time. From the shadows, you clutch the Book of Rites and focus on the task at hand.
I mean, I almost wouldn't be surprised if they at least know one person in our team. So maybe, like...
Possible.
She's the only one that survived. I mean, she has lived here for a very long time, so it would make sense that she'd have other relationships with people in this world. Aww. Aww.
Oh shit, I have the orb. My bad. Well, screwed that one up.
Oh,
there we go.
Ooh, that was close.
It's all fine. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, you can just toss it?
It's supposed to happen later, like they explain it, but obviously...
Yeah, they don't really stop you from utilizing it.
Oh, no, I didn't want to give him the orb. Whoa.
Ooh.
Alright, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can jump.
Yeah, fools. Yeah, I like that each of these characters kind of has their own way of... If they're the last one on the board, they each have their own chance of succeeding in getting the...
Oh, crap.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Ooh. Oh, I like how they visualize.
Yes, and they also give you a time straight up.
Oh, they have 3 of the exact same type of unit.
Yes.
Oh. I'm kind of glad that they do that and not just, like, have the same 3 type of character set up for every match. Aw.
Ow. He was smart about it. Boom.
Nice. Verily. I almost said verily.
No, I shall not accept defeat from you again. You're me accuser. Stand your ground. Let the auras boil with rage. Rage!
That you have flustered the accusers.
We have rattled them. They mean to draw us out.
Then we'll just have to run more circles around them. Yes.
So hold right to fling the orb.
Oh. So if you just like toss it in there, do you...
You're about to find out.
That's hilarious.
So remember, if you jump into the pyre, how that person's like not in for the next round.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so throwing it. Oh, you still get do damage to their pyre with that character's value though. So like you used your dog friend, so it only dealt 15 damage. Right?
Oh. I pressed the wrong button, but that works too. Yeah, if you can deal more damage with the throws, I think, actually, depending on your situation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Woo. Whoa, nicely done. Yeah. Oh, you dealt less.
Not much force of will. Yeah, because they blocked it, actually.
Ah.
Like, the person had hit it. Ow.
Huh. Yeah, the throwing mechanic is interesting. I see now why that one website described this as basketball.
Yeah, because of the throwing. Oh, wait, I don't have... Oh, I did have the orb. I was a fool.
I thought you were still in the in the circle.
Yeah, that is. Boom. Boom.
Nice. 3 left. Well, you're doing pretty good. I think you'll make it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh,
Is that bar at the bottom of each character like their energy?
It's their stamina.
Ah,
Boom.
do any of their stats affect their stamina?
Boink. Actually, no, but there are a lot of things that affect their stamina.
Oh, I see. Well, you are definitely the Nightwings, though.
Yeah.
So that is a thing.
Your deceit may have earned you a hollow victory, but know this. The accusers will not forget your wickedness. And when we next meet, you will rue the day.
You will rule the day.
Oh, in the wisdom of the scribes,
Boom. Gained a level.
Jodariel has gained.
We've withstood worse nights than this, though few is strange.
Can regain their freedom.
Cool.
Ooh.
Time to go down the tree, huh?
Yeah. Should we save this for the next episode?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Cool. I mean, we'll have plenty to talk about, so yeah, let's save for the next one. Question of the day.
Question of the day.
Talk about the game, the
Combat.
match.
Yeah. Combat.
A lot of questions we could use.
I mean, we could even talk about balance, right? Like, what specifically are they doing with the player's party to create a balanced team that I think can survive the longevity of the game?
Correct. Yeah,
I think that's one of the toughest things they probably had to deal with in this game,
it's always, especially with competitive games or in any raid, it's always the toughest challenge.
right?
Balance, man.
Cool. Well, share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you haven't yet, check out Pyre yourself. And then, share your experience in the comments also.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.